There's two stars in this movie, in my opinion. It's the group of flies that lead Kane all over the place that are in charge of Kane, because I think Kane
No,
is made out of flies.
no,
Because
I'm
did you see
convinced.
it every time he
No,
pops up, a fly is just there
no, I'm
beforehand?
convinced he is the fly. That's what I was thinking
I
because
think he's made out of flies.
it literally anytime there was a fly, it's like he transformed and it was him. I swear, I think he was a fly.
I didn't have my air horn sound effect, so that's me doing it. What is going on? Welcome back to WrestleCinema, a podcast talking about movies that have wrestlers in them. A podcast that talks about wrestling, a podcast that talks about movies. We're talking about wrestling movies, whatever. What's going on? It's been a little over a couple of weeks, longer than I wanted it to be. After the Vince McMahon documentary, I was like, we're going to do some weekly episodes. We're going to get some guests. We ended up not doing any of that, but that's okay because we are here now with a new episode. As always, I'm your host, Joe. You can follow me on social media at the homie Joe Bro, but more importantly, you can follow the podcast and the content that I'm creating for WrestleCinema at WrestleCinema on all social media platforms. That's Twitter, that's Instagram, that's TikTok, that's YouTube. At WrestleCinema, you'll find everything related to clips that I make off the podcast, just random memes that I make. We're just wrestling content on these podcasts, on these platforms. But the podcast, if you're already listening to it, you're already up to, a good start. Thank you so much for still being here. And on today's episode, we're talking about See No Evil, because happy Halloween, everyone. This episode is a Halloween episode. It's October 31st here in the States, which means it is Halloween, but it's also October 31st everywhere. But that doesn't mean it's Halloween everywhere. But here we are. I'm talking about See No Evil, and I'm not alone. I got the homie Finn. He is with me. I brought Finn. If you've been listening to this podcast in the past, you'll remember Finn from Project Kayfabe, from Strictly Nonsense, or more recently, our 12 Rounds episode. So I got Finn here. We're talking about See No Evil, but we're also going to be discussing and previewing Crown Jewel. That's the pay-per-view. That's the premium live event. I don't like calling it that. But that's the premium live event happening at Saudi this weekend, and it's a 7-match card. There's a lot of matches that are interesting going on there, so of course we're talking about them. We're talking about See No Evil, and then we're talking about just anything else that we've seen here. But with all that being said, I've introed enough. Thank you for listening. Let's talk about Crown Jewel. Let's talk about See No Evil. Let's do it. Okay, so we're going to talk about Crown Jewel. We're going to talk about Kane in See No Evil. But I'm not alone this time, even though it seems to be my only guest. I haven't really worked hard to get any guests. But we brought back Finn. How you doing, Finn?
I'm doing.
What's good? Tell people how you've been.
I'm doing well. It's been. I think it was 6 months ago was the last for the. We watched the Marine, right? Or no, 12
No,
rounds.
we watched 12 rounds.
The other John Cena cinema masterpiece, 12 rounds. You get them confused sometimes. So yeah, it's been a long time, but I'm back, and you don't need any other guests. You have me. What do you need?
Yeah, I've been trying. I'm like, I have some people I want to do. Who do you need when you got Finn?
Exactly.
So that's all the listeners want. That's all they need. They only
Unless
need
you can
Finn.
get Greg. If you can get Greg again, then I understand. If I'm bummed.
The star of Project Kayfabe, of Strictly Nonsense. That Greg.
Yep.
Well, shout out to Greg. Happily engaged now. Look how much his time has passed.
Yes.
Our boy's all grown up.
Wasn't too long ago he was puking during the live stream of Friday the 13th we were watching that time.
Yeah, that was the one, Jason Takes New York.
Yeah,
that is kind of crazy. He could go from puking on a podcast 2-3 years ago to now being an engaged man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good luck, Caitlin.
Yep.
Well, with that, this Saturday is our favorite Saudi Arabia show, Crown Jewel. Surprisingly, Crown Jewel has been pretty decent the last couple of years. I mean, I think before COVID, it was just one of those random shows that they put together. You got Undertaker on the card going against Goldberg, crap like this,
Mhm.
like that. But now, we actually got things that matter for some reason. There's a title. For some reason, Elio's calling me right now. I
Oh well,
don't
I
know.
mean, that makes a lot of sense.
So yeah, before the pandemic, Crown Jewel was just not. It was just an event that they randomly threw together. But now it's an event where you'll see Roman on the card going against
Mhm.
Logan Paul. You'll see some of the biggest matches of the year actually happen on Crown Jewel, and we have a solid card here. We got one,
Yeah.
two, three, four, five, six, seven
Yeah,
matches.
7 matches, which I've liked and disliked the whole 5 match card thing that Triple H has been doing recently. Like, I like it because it has made SmackDown and Raw a little bit more interesting for like the kind of upper to just regular mid carders, makes that more important for them. But they haven't gotten the
Yeah,
shine in the pay per views. Kind of like perfect LA Knight with the US title. Like, he's been killing it on SmackDown, but he hasn't defended it. I don't think on a pay per view yet. So
yeah.
it's
Not
good
that,
for him
not
to
that I can
finally
remember.
do it, and to also to go back to how you were saying about 20 like pre-pandemic Crown Jewel and whatever the Crown Jewel and the other names, they also the greatest battle royal, whatever. Uh, I forgot who exactly said it. It was whatever wrestling YouTube. I follow too many of them to know which one. They always felt like they were kind of in a separate like timeline. That's how they considered it. Like, it
Honestly, yeah, that's
never
a good way to look at it. It
it
wasn't
never
canon
really
that
made
much.
sense exactly like canon. Like, and that's still kind of to a degree with this one, where like the perfect example, like the Cody versus Logan match was awesome, but it was literally just for that pay per view, and then it was done with. Which honestly, I don't mind, because that's what we shouldn't make these events and this in Saudi Arabia mean that much. I know they were given a belt or whatever, but whoever wins that, either man, I don't see carrying that or
No,
around
not at
ever
all.
besides in Saudi Arabia. I think it's just unfortunately, I mean they're a part of this deal, so they're complicit. The people, the Saudi princes and everything, probably like, we give us this belt that they probably made. That's why it's so ridiculous. They made the belt probably and like, here, your champion must have this, and they're like, okay, yeah, we'll just. Which I again I like having. I'm
It
really
makes
very
it a
excited
way to
for.
care in a way,
I'm excited for Cody and Gunther. That's why I don't mind this happening. I don't care if the belt had nothing to do with this. This would be amazing. It's just the
Oh
belt
yeah.
makes it a little like, ugh, like, who gives a
You
shit
know
about this
when
belt?
when they did the King of the Ring, like I thought, Gunther was able to pick between like whoever the champions. No, he was only able to go against Damian Priest. But I always wanted him to go against Cody, and now we're finally getting it. So hey,
Yeah.
if it's for an imaginary belt,
Hmm.
so be it. And yeah, like in a way, like because Braun Strowman won like the greatest Royal
Hmm.
Rumble, I think, and then he got that belt that we never saw ever again. So maybe
And
this will be in the similar vein, but at the same time, this belt looks super heavy with the way that it takes like three
yeah,
people to hold the
it
briefcase
does look
as it.
insanely heavy, which yeah, I don't get it, but yeah, I just feel like this is a perfect way to since Cody's won the title, besides people related to the bloodline, I think Gunther's at the top or near the top of at least my list, possibly everyone else's list of possible opponents for Cody. Maybe I think just the only other one I could think of right now is CM Punk. That might have been a little bit more intriguing, but Gunther versus Cody, non-relating to the bloodline, because of course everyone wants to see Cody versus The Rock eventually. Like that. That's the number one, at least in my eyes. But I think we're setting that up eventually for it to happen. I don't
Oh,
know when it's
it's
gonna.
setting up, and we're definitely getting Cody versus Roman Part 3 at some
Yeah,
point.
that too. But yeah, I'm very excited for this match because I'm a huge Cody guy, but I like Gunther a lot, and that's what I again with this card. It's tough. Like, I'm looking at it, it's very tough to predict this card. You,
Yeah,
like
which it's just good. I
yeah,
like that. Back in the
'cause-
day, you would always like look at a card and be like, "Oh, that's definitely who's going over. That's who's winning." But now, like, it could kind of go either way with a
And
lot of these matches.
I think they're in almost all the matches. I could see either one or the triple threat three like winning, which is it's nice. I feel like mainly WWE pay-per-views have always kind of been predictable, especially now under Triple H. It's been a lot of predictability, but there's still been some great pay-per-views, but this one, it's going to be interesting that honestly anything could happen. So I'm very excited to watch this.
Yeah, same here. So with that being said, let's get into some of the card. We don't have to, break it down totally. We don't have to go down like so much details, but let's just say who we think's going to win, and just a little bit of our thoughts. First match on here from Cage Match, we got Seth Rollins versus Braun Strowman. I am shocked that they've done really well with Braun Strowman with this feud because
Bronson Reed,
you're forgetting Braun Strowman. All these
you're
big
thinking
guys.
About the other monster and the monster Matt. I'm pretty sure technically I think Braun Strowman was the monster of all monsters. I think, but I don't. I didn't watch. I remember watching the clips.
Men, I don't know.
Monster no.
Monster match.
Strowman did win because Seth curb stomped Reed on the steps, and I'm pretty sure Strowman just covered. So, yes, Strowman is we haven't seen him, I think, since the match, but Strowman is the monster of all monsters.
We got Bronson Reed, we got Braun Strowman, we got Braun Breaker. There's a lot of Brauns in here.
Yeah, they messed up with too many Brauns. Pretty soon there'll be a LeBron.
Oh, the King? He retires from the NBA and he joins? Yeah, I can see that.
That'd be sick.
But anyway, Bronson Reed, shout out to him because they've actually done a great job in making him fucking kill people, and that's kind of all I want for my big guys. Like, he was kind of irrelevant for a very long time. Yeah. At one point, when The Miz was heel, he was kind of like his enforcer in a way for like a hot minute, and then, he kind of became irrelevant again. But now, because of the whole Braun Strowman and Seth Rollins kind of deal, like, it's been cool to see him destroy things and just attack people and eat people. And him going against Seth, I think that's cool. Honestly, I don't, Seth Rollins, someone he could lose like 5 matches, 10 matches in a row and still be the number one contender a week later. I'd honestly would rather let Bronson Reed win it, so then you could build someone up to go against, I don't know, a Gunther or a Cody, or continue to build up guys, because honestly, when you look at the main event spots, like, I feel like, there's people that need some more depth. And I think with Bronson Reed becoming more of a legitimate threat of I'm going to kill you kind of guy, is he going to be a Cody Rhodes? No, but he's killing Seth Rollins, and I like that. So I'd kind of let him win. I think he should win.
I completely agree. The way they've I agree with pretty much everything you said. Since he did that, it was the night after, or not the night of, the Monday after SummerSlam, where he just went and destroyed Seth Rollins. Like, that was awesome. Where he just kept doing tsunamis, and then he just kept doing it, even though RIP, even though he's fine. R-Truth, he didn't even remember that he got like 10 tsunamis hit on him. But I thought that was awesome how they're pushing him to be literally a monster. And yeah, I feel like this, it's kind of a no-brainer, because you can also, the way Bronson Reed is so dominant, Seth still has the whole, I don't know if he is still injured or is lingering, but at least storyline-wise, you can make it seem like maybe I rushed into it, maybe I'm still not ready, something like that, and make Bronson look good. And then I could see maybe not Survivor Series, but I don't know. There isn't a pay-per-view in December, I don't think, right?
There's no pay-per-view in December, but they're treating Saturday Night Main Event like it's going to be a pay-per-view the way they talked about it.
Well, I just thought of, because I know Gunther might be doing something with CM Punk Survivor Series. Who knows, maybe Goldberg. Who knows?
Oh, boy.
But if I would like to see maybe Bronson Reed versus Gunther for the World Heavyweight title. If Bronson Reed beats a former World Heavyweight Champion, he should...
Yeah, puts him up in the rankings.
Puts him up like that. I think that would not two meaty men slapping meat.
Yeah.
So that's I agree. I think Bronson Reed should win this, and I have a feeling he's going to.
And, let's say he goes against Gunther. That's a good option with Gunther. Or, you know, another big boy kind of matchup, him versus Braun Breaker would be kind of cool, too.
Yes, that would also
Like,
be. Yeah.
when you,
No,
I like
I
when my
agree.
big men are big men and they're
Yeah.
vicious and they're, let my people like Seth Rollins, they could be all great wrestlers and all that, but
Hmm.
let the big boys just kind of fuck each other up. And
Yeah.
that's what you could do with him. But okay. Then we got on the card next on here Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens. Honestly, I didn't know this match was happening until you told me about it the other day at a
Yep.
Halloween party.
Hmm.
Honestly, forgot why, because I know Kevin Owens turned heel with Cody, but I'm like, why? I forgot that Cody's doing the whole Gunther shit with this title match for the Crown Jewel title. So it only makes sense. His former friend Randy Orton, they're beefing. I don't really know much going on with the story. I haven't watched enough SmackDown to really know, but I'd give it to Kevin Owens just because he just turned him heel. Randy Orton is another one where it's like, that's Randy Orton. He could lose every match in the world and still win the Royal Rumble the next day. So kind of doesn't really matter. Kevin Owens, I think it looked like they were going to maybe do another Cody versus Kevin Owens, but now Kevin Owens is heel kind of deal. I'd give it to Kevin Owens so he could go against Cody.
Yes, I agree with. I do think Kevin should go over. If this is, that's why I just look at it like, what would Vince do? Vince would make Randy win because he loved
easily.
Randy, and I low key think he didn't fuck with Kevin, so I could easily see him. So I tend to think Triple H thinks the other way, so that's why I'm leaning. And yeah, I agree. I think it gives Kevin just needs this more, and I think they're drawing Randy Orton not being involved with Cody yet because who knows if that's gonna be, I don't know, maybe Royal Rumble, maybe Mania. Like it's gonna be that's eventually gonna have to happen. I mean, I want it to happen. I think everyone wants it to happen. So have Randy lose, and then maybe it's already been teased with him. He always is grabbing the belt and giving it to Cody. He's like looking like, oh, I want it, but I'm the good guy. I'm not the Viper. Eventually, I think something's gonna break, and and I think losing this might start that stumble into fuck Cody Rhodes. I'm coming for the title.
It should.
Yeah.
We also don't need a heel. I mean, we don't need a face Randy Orton. Randy Orton is at his best when he
is the best, but he's, I think, now to the point of it. Like, he's such a legend that he's gonna get cheered no matter. Once he even eventually turns and goes against Cody, everyone will still love Cody, but everyone loves Randy. Like he might shave his head fully again and be the dick, and everyone's still gonna be singing voices now. Like they're still going to be doing that.
That is cool that they sing voices.
I really like that now, but I think he's beloved that, make him a heel, make him a face, he's still going to be Randy Orton.
Yeah. I think this could be interesting to see where this goes for Cody at the end of the day.
That's what this honestly is interesting. It involves Cody maybe more than these two guys, the result of this. Like what happens,
and it has to be something around Survivor Series, I'd imagine, or Royal Rumble, with the way everything's playing out. Because I don't think it's going to have anything to do with the Bloodline quite yet. But talking about the Bloodline, next match on here that they have listed: Roman Reigns and the Usos. The Usos are back together, and they're going against the Bloodline of Jacob Fatu, Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, and Tonga Loa is just on the sideline. He's just there. I'm pretty sure. For some reason, it says "and," so I don't know. Is it a 4-on-3 kind of?
Because you save the best for last. That's what you like. Tonga Loa, he's the real tribal chief, the RTC people. That's what he is.
Does he still have an eye patch?
No, but I don't know why they got rid of that. It was perfect. He has him. They both, the Tongans have been perfect in the role that they have been given, of just being the background to Solo and Jacob, because Jacob's already, soon his first night, he surpassed them because of how just insane he is.
He needs to kill Roman Reigns one day and just take over everything.
That's the way they're making him look, and I don't disagree. But if it's up to me, I think, and what I'm gonna predict, I think Solo and the Tongue and Jacob and them, I think the new bloodline, I think, are gonna take this or also should take this
I
because
agree. I
it should
agree.
this should set up for Survivor Series and the inevitable War Games match.
Yeah, this needs to set up for Survivor Series. If it is a 4-on-3, then obviously they're outnumbered. So, the OG bloodline, they don't know what to do. They
Mm-hmm.
haven't been a team in well
Exactly.
over a year now. So it's
That's
like,
right. You can
okay,
the easy like, oh, there's still friction. There's no friction in the new
yeah,
bloodline.
they don't trust each other on this
Mm-hmm.
OG bloodline. They've all turned their backs on each other. Jimmy has gone to, now he's saying yeet, even though he was no yeet.
Yeah,
What's going on, man? You
yeah.
can't trust him flip flopping like that.
I'll still always love the bloodline storyline, no matter what. But they did rush the reunion of the Usos a little bit, where like one day it went from Jay was get away from me, Jimmy, get away from me, Roman, and then just because he lost the IC title, Jay just spun. Not just I would understand if he of course cost the bloodline the tag titles, but he then just went right back to Jimmy. Like I get they had to rush it because the pay per view's happening soon,
Series,
but
yeah.
it's they could have planned it maybe a little bit better, but I guess that also had to do with Roman's schedule. It's a lot of moving parts that I just wish it could have been done a little but it was
I wish
great.
they
It was great.
planned it out a bit more.
But it was great. It's great seeing the Usos back together. And now the also added element of Sammy after what happened on
Yeah.
Raw, him talking to Solo. I don't, of course, think he's going to. I don't like they're setting it up or making it look like it. He's not going to side with the new bloodline. I just think Sammy's still like I don't fuck with any of you besides Jay right now, really. And he's probably like, I just talked to Solo because, again, so it looked like Solo probably was talking to him, and he was just hearing him out.
Yeah, probably Solo just pulled up out of nowhere in
Yeah,
the car and saw Sammy. That's probably what the full thing is. But what if Sammy is in cahoots?
That would be.
He's the biggest ball fondler of the year. He was like, oh, I love the OG bloodline. Now he's like, I love the new bloodline. So
Yeah, no, that
be
that would be pretty insane because and if it happens, or I think when it happens, Sammy rejoining with the OG bloodline will be pretty cool. But if they do a swerve, then it's just like the only thing that I think would be a negative is then you'd probably have to get Cody involved because like who's going to be another member of the OG bloodline, and I kind of want Cody not to be involved until
Cody doesn't need this until the
he
Rock
doesn't
is
need to,
back. Or
like
Royal
he's
Rumble.
like he let him do his own thing, deal with Randy Orton and probably Kevin, stuff like that. But yeah, I'm interested. I think there's a chance. I think a good chance that Sammy might be involved in this match since it is. I don't know if it's 3-on-3 or with a guy in the corner or 4-on-3. It just makes sense. Oh, here comes Sammy to save the day. I could see that. Maybe saving Jay, but like having a confrontation with Jimmy and Roman, like something like that.
Yeah. Also, the Dodgers just won the World Series.
Yeah, I didn't want to say anything, but
I've been watching it on the side.
Yeah, just saying. The Mets lost to the Dodgers in 6. Just saying.
Man, this was a good game too. Like until they just couldn't keep it together.
No, the Dodgers are just way too good. It was.
Man.
No, he's listen. I love seeing the Yankee fans like, oh, this guy. Who's this guy? I've been dealing with Freddie Freeman what feels like for 35 years. How he's tortured it, mainly with the Braves, and then
I was gonna say because he was on the Braves.
He was on the Braves for so long, and even like there were times when the Braves weren't that good. No matter what, he's got like my guess, like a 320 career average against the Mets in his lifetime. And again, he's very good. It's very upsetting to like. That's what like I hated the Dodgers in the NLCS, but once they won, I'm like they were just a better team. And honestly, like, I can't like I do really like Otani. Like, he is the best. He's just
Otani is pretty
ridiculous.
cool.
He's Freddie. Like, he's a great person. He's gone through a lot personally, and I can't be that guy. Just respect the guy. And then Mookie's also pretty great. Like, it's tough. They have likable players because fuck them that they just won
Yeah.
pretty easily. The Padres are kicking themselves. If they had beat the Dodgers, this could have been them. Or it could have been the Mets. I don't know. The Mets ran, I guess. I can't feel bad.
Well, that's been
that's baseball.
Real sports talk. That's baseball.
Now back to sports entertainment.
There you go. We got this women's tag team title match 4-way going on. We got Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, the champs, going against Chelsea Green and Piper Nivens versus Damage Control of Io and Kairi Sane. And we got Metaphor with Jakara Jackson, there you go, and Lash Legend. Honestly, haven't watched a single thing that's going on between this feud. The only thing I did know is at one point Chelsea Green had a garbage match, I think, that has nothing to do with this, I'm pretty sure.
No,
I just don't know why this is a match. I still don't even know why they put the titles back on Bianca and Jade, but hey, they've been cooking and keeping the titles relevant, so I guess there's that.
I think it's probably just to continue to stretch it along where these two are eventually going to break up and fight each other at some point, most likely Mania. So if a betting man, gotta go with and one thing with WWE that I don't love, bring back tag team names. Like, that's just too many people's names. Like, I've noticed it too when I'm watching. Just that's why I don't watch stuff live mainly that much. Besides SmackDown on occasion when the Bloodline's involved, Roman, Cody's involved, I might watch it live. I usually just watch highlights, and I just see too many long names. Like, oh, this person and this person. Even like in NXT, Nathan Frazier and Axiom have been a tag team for so long. And they just continue to call them Nathan Frazier and Axiom. Everyone calls them Fraxium. Just call them Fraxium. Just call it I know they had the big, like, when it was Jade Cargill, Naomi, and Bianca Belair, they were unofficially known as the Big Three. Just make this like the Big Two or the Dynamic Duo. So it's not just it's a little like just make a name. When a team is this I get it when when it was like randomly when John Cena and Batista won for like a month or so. Yeah, they're John Cena and Batista. They're not going to be a tag team forever. But once you get past like a 6-month period, or even shorter, maybe a team name would just be nice.
Hey,
and you can sell merch. You can sell merch too.
We're talking about even shorter and talking about because there was a new name. I mean, we got Pure Fusion Collective.
Yeah, like I'm maybe all right. I take it back. I take everything back after.
And then, at one point, I think it was a Finn Balor idea, and they didn't do it, thankfully. But when the new Judgment Day became a thing, they were going to call them Street Trash.
Just because I think Damian Priest called them, or no, I think Gunther called them Street Trash. So they were going to adopt that. Yeah, thank God they didn't, because that's just maybe. All right, so I take everything back. If these are the names they're coming up with.
If these are the names that have been up in there.
All right, I'll take some extra syllables and long names besides dumb. Very, very dumb names, but they could, like, really, even it's Damage Control, but they'll still introduce Io Sky and Kairi Sane. They won't just say Damage Control. It's a little pet peeve of mine, but it's just like, you wouldn't say the Dudley Boys and then, or I guess maybe you would say Bubba.
I think you would.
But it's just like, just the Dudley Boys. It's just easy. It's just simple.
It's a pet peeve.
It's grinds, as Peter Griffin said, what really grinds my gears. This is what grinds my gears. WWE.
Hey, but we used to when we had what grinds my gears segment on.
Yes, that I count that grinds my gears. But yeah, I would put it on more than likely Bianca and Jade are going to retain. But if I was like, why not? Why not give it to Chelsea Green and Piper Niven? Chelsea Green's very entertaining.
They were great when they were champions before. Chelsea Green takes the TV time that she gets and makes the most of it.
That's right. Chelsea Green's very entertaining. I like her. I think she deserves at least the tag titles. Maybe eventually that could be the team that splits them up, but that's what I'm just saying. I think if a team, or maybe no, I think I would give it to Chelsea and Pep because just again, why not? Because they will be. Chelsea Green's always, even if it's on for very small time, she's always on SmackDown at least for one segment. So you can put that. The tag titles can still be used at least once every week on SmackDown.
No, I mean, hey, Chelsea Green, I love her. She's awesome. They were champs. It was pretty fun for a little bit. And yeah, Bianca and Jade, I think, will walk out as winners. But being a fatal 4-way, it gives me the idea that maybe they could drop the belts, but then they don't have to eat the pin.
Just like a few months ago.
Them strong. Yeah, exactly. That's literally what happened when they went to Glasgow. Right? Was that Glasgow? Was that Clash of the Castle?
Yeah, I believe it was Clash of the
Castle. So yeah, if it's not Bianca and Jade, I'm gonna say probably Damage Control.
I could see they're the second most I would probably
realistic.
Say. But yeah, I'm just gonna. My actual prediction is Bianca and Jade. My heart says Chelsea Green and Piper Niven should do it, but I understand the Damage Control is the next logical choice because they also are very good.
Oh, they're awesome.
Io Sky is pretty damn incredible. I can't lie.
She's one of the best wrestlers. Period. On the roster.
They have their own I don't even think it. I don't know if it's a finisher or they keep using that elbow. That elbow thing. It's pretty sick. It's pretty sick. I can't lie.
They're fun to watch. I hope we get to see them at Saturday Night Main Event, which we're going to.
Hell yeah.
So yeah. Next match, we got the United States Triple Threat match. LA Knight, Andrade, and Carmelo. Honestly, I have to watch a lot of the best of 7 because I never really watched any of them. Because like I said, I don't really watch SmackDown. But I know they've been cooking. So I know that. And then I know the last match, LA Knight just kind of got thrown in there, which I thought was funny. And also I saw he kind of did most of the match with the belt around his waist. So that's cool. I don't see LA Knight losing, but at the same time, if he had to lose, Carmelo Hayes as champ sounds good to me.
Yeah, this is another one of it could be unpredictable. I think the more logical is going to be LA Knight retaining because he's been doing pretty well in this title reign, and I feel like he deserves to have it for a little bit longer. But if they want to do maybe a little hot potato action, I could see either one. I could see either one of those two winning. I'd be happy with that. As much as I love LA Knight, I would like to see either one, Andrade or Carmelo, are two incredible wrestlers, and also two just extremely cool guys. So it's 3 cool guys going in a match. I like all of them. I'm happy with any result.
No one loses.
That's what it's like. I like. It would be suck. It would suck if LA Knight won, but if he eventually gets it back, I wouldn't be upset. So I'll put in LA to retain, but I wouldn't be upset with either Andrade or Melo. I could see Melo sneakily. He rolls up, pins Andrade, and then continue this even more, which they should. These 3 could do another maybe month cycle in a feud. I could see it.
Yeah, no, I'd be down. I mean, hey, if Andrade wins the belt, it would be great because the only belt he's won was the Speed.
Is the Speed? Yeah, he does deserve another title besides the Speed.
Another thing that makes no sense that it's non-canon because why if he was I still never understand. I get it's a Twitter thing, but why wouldn't he come out with the belt so you could at least get people to be watch it on Twitter? I just never understood that.
Yeah,
I don't even know who the Speed champion is right now. Is it? Who the fuck is the Speed champion?
Who is the Speed champ? Is it Dragon Lee?
Maybe.
That's my guess.
I know the women's one is
Candice LeRae. Yeah.
It's Andrade.
It's still Andrade. I thought he lost it. I guess he never. Never watched Speed.
I've watched 1 or 2 matches, but
I refuse
they don't really promote it on TV. I don't care
because I refuse to support Elon. That's why
true, yeah.
I won't watch my wrestling, even though I'll watch clips and everything on Twitter. I won't watch Speed. That's where I draw the line.
I'm surprised it's not a TikTok thing, to be honest.
Then I'd watch it but the classic TikTok where half the screen is the match, half of it's Subway Surfer. That's how they should. That's how Speed should be. That's how my wrestling should be done. If I was in charge of Speed, that's how it would happen. Or the oddly satisfying, like cutting the like Play-Doh type things, like those type video, those
or
things.
just Family Guy clips on the bottom.
That too. I would also agree with that.
We're giving you ideas, Hunter.
Yeah, just I think it's better. I think we've created better things than Speed. Just saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, now what's probably going to be our main event matches. Women's Crown Jewel title match. Nia Jax, Liv Morgan. While Liv Morgan is a sneaky gal, I don't know. Unless the Judgment Day come out there, I think Nia Jax is squashing her.
I don't know if it's squash. I'm picking Nia. I just feel like it will. It makes sense.
Legitimately, she's just gonna squash her.
Oh, squash her. Squash match, all right. But yeah, either way, she's gonna. No matter what the result, she will squash her. Yes, that is true.
Yeah.
I just will. Is the inevitability of Judgment Day being involved, Raquel getting involved, then Tiffy. Yeah. That's what. Ooh, what? You know what? I'm gonna. You know what? Screw it. I don't care. I'm just gonna throw it. Tiffy wins a title. I'm gonna say, she cashes in on Nia and wins. Who knows? I'm just gonna. This is gonna be my random. I'm just gonna shoot my shot. That I think that could. I would like that. People have already said like, what if she cashed in on both titles? See what happens. I think that'd be a very cool concept. And if she turns on Nia, that would be very interesting.
They've already been teasing it a lot. At one point, I didn't watch it, but I saw Nia like choked with Tiffy.
Oh yeah, no. So that's why I think that's gonna happen. I think now going in my brain, she's gonna cash in and maybe accidentally beat Nia, but I can. She's gonna cash in on Nia.
A three-way match somehow or something. All right,
I could see.
I like that. Mm-hmm. All right, we got that from Finn Select right there.
Yeah, exactly. That DraftKings odds on that are probably great.
And I know we touched about this match at the beginning while we were talking about Crown Jewel, but Cody versus Gunther. This is where it's like, man, who wins? Is there shenanigans involved? Because both of them are champions. If one beats the other, I mean, obviously, Cody we know can be beaten. We know Gunther can be beaten. But Gunther, if I had anyone to do a Roman Reigns kind of reign ever again, it would be Gunther. Honestly, this man never touched the mat ever.
That's why he did.
He
pretty much did a mini version already with the IC title. That's why I agree. I think. Again, I love Cody, but I'm starting to really love Gunther, and I just think it would make sense for Gunther to win this.
Gunther should win it.
Gunther should win it, and I would like it to just be these two go at it, and Gunther like both. It's tough seeing either one of these guys getting pinned, so maybe there is going to be shenanigans. I hope it's not. I hope it's not Bloodline. I could see if Cody gets interviewed, Kevin Owens or Randy. If Randy just starts, if he snaps, if he hears the voices, I could. But yeah, I think Gunther is and should win this the Crown Jewel Championship. That I think similar to the Crown with the King of the Ring, he only really he didn't care that much about the Crown.
He didn't care.
I don't think he cares about the belt either. That's why, and it just at least. If Gunther was to hold that belt, like it would look bad, but he's a bad guy, so it's like, all right, he's holding the ridiculous belt. I don't think Cody should be holding that belt.
It'll look funny on Cody.
It would look funny, and it's also the whole thing of just the awkwardness of the whole Saudi Arabia stuff. Like it doesn't look right.
No, it's always funny. I forgot who I was talking to a couple weeks ago, but it's like. It's funny that they try to never mention Saudi Arabia. They were like, "Oh, Crown Jewel, we're in Riyadh."
And Riyadh,
they never say where Riyadh is.
Yeah, no, they'll take the money, but we'll take all the money they're giving us, so much money. But we'll give you a belt. We'll do this, that, but we'll try not to promote you too much. Even though, it's still too awkward that this has got to got to be done for sports washing.
Hey,
Fun times.
money is money in
Yeah,
there.
money is money. Yep.
They're gonna go wherever the money goes. So that's Crown Jewel.
Speaking of bad things.
Yeah, speaking of bad things.
Yeah.
Oh boy, our movie of the week that we're talking about. It's Halloween time. It's spooky time, and nothing spookier than watching a bad movie. And a bad movie that we watched was See No Evil, starring Kane, Mr. Glenn Jacobs himself.
Yes, Mayor Glenn Jacobs.
MAGA Glenn
Yes,
Jacobs.
MAGA Glenn Jacobs. This is the movie equivalent of the DX versus Brothers of Destruction match at whatever Crown Jewel or whatever Saudi show that was. That's the equivalent of this movie is to that match. Just bad. Just bad all around.
I give it to them, the marketing, or at least what I thought in my head from being a kid to now. I've always thought, I've never seen the movie, but they made that shit look spooky. They made that movie look scary. Yes. And I kid you not, this movie was not scary one bit.
Nope.
And man, while Kane spent his entire career in WWE being a scary monster, just destruction, he was not scary in this movie one bit. Maybe it's because I know he's MAGA, so maybe I lost the loss being scared of Kane.
I kept picturing
scary in this movie.
I kept picturing corporate Kane. That's the problem nowadays is seeing old school Kane. Like I see him like he's still imposing, but I think of him wearing the no shirt and just the slacks as corporate Kane. I'm like, yeah, that's that Kane. This Kane ain't scary.
This Kane was not scary one bit, and Kane used to scare so many people.
Yeah. I don't. One thing I just don't get. I think it was smart when he would fight people doing pretty much wrestling moves, choke slamming, doing shit like makes sense. I don't understand why he used a hook.
Yeah,
I don't know why was he Captain Hook? Like he just threw around a hook. It was just so random of a weapon. Like there was he used it more than once. I think more than twice. It made it seem like he was the hook man, but we got no backstory. He could have just used any weapon, or what he did to a lot of other. Like what I appreciate was there was a good amount of people to kill, so he did a good amount of killing. He could have just used his bare hands. He pretty much used his bare hands a lot of times, but then he'd use his bare hands or a hook. It was very random.
Yeah. It was like maybe they saw Candyman. I don't know if you ever seen Candyman, but there's a hook in Candyman. Maybe they did that. I know for sure they watched Friday the 13th with the way that this movie plays out. If you're unfamiliar, and spoilers for anyone watching, for Friday the 13th and See No Evil, I don't care. There is no spoiler window in this review. The woman that's a part of this hotel, she is the mother of Kane, and this is Jason Voorhees and his mother, basically, because that's what Friday the 13th is. Jason is the big killer, and we got Jason in Friday the 13th. We got Jacob in this movie.
Oh, yeah. What's his dumb last name?
Jacob Goodling or something.
Good. It's such that was my first thing before I even watched the movie, because I just IMDb'd it real quick, and yeah, it was Jacob. Why didn't I write it down? But it's so dumb. Jacob Goodnight. Jacob Goodnight. And they don't mention. The funny thing is, they do not say his full name ever. Like,
did they ever mention her name? Was her name mentioned? The mother? I don't remember.
Mrs. Goodnight. I don't know. I mean, we're spoiler. I knew she was involved the moment I set eyes on her. I'm like, yeah, she's involved with
creepy old lady.
Yeah, I'm like, she's involved with Kane. I should have put two and two together. Obviously, it's going to be the mom until she came into the room and the girl thought, oh, she's going to save me. I'm like, oh, she's Kane's mother. I'm like, I knew she was involved. I'm like, of course, she's Kane's mother.
And the creator of this movie, or Vince, because Vince McMahon had a lot of hands.
Oh, really? What would make you think Vince McMahon? One of my big also notes was Kevin Dunn was definitely the director or in charge of the video of
Oh,
this
he
movie.
had to. The back and forth of a lot of these scenes were
The
happening.
cuts,
Or what pissed me off, the special effects out of nowhere too would get me annoyed with the little visual effects.
literally 3 minutes in, I'm just like, yo, what is with these fucking cuts? They kept doing this thing where it looked like the video was like rewinding. I'm like,
Yeah.
what the fuck are they doing here? They just really were like, oh, this is gonna look cool. It looks terrible.
It looked very 2006.
Yes, that was another thing I put down. This movie was a part. It is 2006 to a T, very much so.
That was like my first note that I said.
How everyone was talking, how everyone was dressed. I'm like, yes, this is 2006, so I will give them props for that. But my God, just the acting. It was some of the guy that loses his arm in the beginning.
The cop.
The cop.
Yeah.
Possibly the worst acting I've ever seen in my life from that man. He was at, like, people always say, oh, like, that actor was very stiff and everything. I'm like, okay. No, when people say, oh, an actor was stiff, this is the prototype. He literally had no emotions, and not even like, oh, he's a person that just has no emotions. He just couldn't convey any emotions, I think.
Even when losing his arm, I'm like, you can't give me more than that.
he was just speaking to anyone. He just I was like, my God, I am not going crazy. This guy is terrible. It's like, what were they thinking?
Was rough. The most notable person on this whole set was Kane, because you would think they would try and maybe, because in you would try and like throw some sort of a B-list actor or a C-list actor. These were the most unknown actors that I've seen. The girl, the Christine, the black girl or mixed girl, I think I've seen her in one thing as a very background character.
I agree. I feel like I looked into it. I already forgot what movie, but yes, it might have been. Or this is another thing when I'm just going through. Sometimes I go through IMDb rabbit holes. She might have been a friend in Lindsay Lohan's friend in Freaky Friday.
She was.
Okay, that's what I was like. Because when I saw her, I'm like, she seems familiar, but I can't think of it. And I looked up her IMDb, like, oh, I'm surprised I remember that because I haven't seen Freaky Friday in years. So I'm surprised I remember she was the friend. But yeah, I'm like, I can't put my finger on it, but I remember her. No one else besides Kane was recognizable.
And, like, John Cena's the Marine. At least they had Robert Patrick, so that's a notable actor to go off with. In 12 Rounds, you had Diddlefinger in there.
You had Diddlefinger. Yes, you did.
Like, you have some notable... You had at least one person. Like, the budget of this movie should have had to afford one notable person, and I think they should have went a bit more, like, with practical effects or something. This movie would have been great if it kind of went on, like... I know you didn't like Terrifier, but on the Terrifier approach of how gory it was and practical. Because at the end of the movie, it took me out of it when Kane goes to die, and it's the most CGI cutscene I've ever seen. This was like, remember The Mummy Returns with the Rock kind of bad CGI? That was this. That was awesome.
I thought I was watching a cutscene from an original Xbox game, not Xbox 360, from Xbox. I just, it was so dumb. And... the one thing that was taking me out of the movie was so much was they never really said it, but I assume they were all like teenagers or they're juvenile delinquents.
Yeah.
Why was the guy Michael 38 years old? Just saying.
Oh my God, he looked like he was balding.
That's what I said. I can't stop looking at Michael who looks 38 with a receding hairline. That's what I put down because I'm like. Everyone looks like none of them look like one or two maybe look like, oh, they could be like 18, 19. Most of them look like they're early 20s. This man's like, good God, go to the nursing home,
like
sir.
He's playing like a prison guard.
Yeah, like there's no way this guy's at juvie. And then he was acting honestly until we learned even more about the Jacob character. This guy was the villain in my eyes until.
He was watching girls in the shower.
He was doing that. He was being very racist to the poor. That's the worst person I feel for was I already forgot names, but the poor black guy who.
Oh yeah, I don't remember his name.
I don't
only know
remember.
the black girl's name is Christine.
Yeah, but
That's all
I thought it was evident I thought they were gonna do the most fucked up shit to make him the first death. Luckily, they didn't.
Yeah.
But they could have
He's like
made
one of
him
the last people to die.
But I think he deserved to be the last man standing, but they gave it to Michael, who was a creep, but he did one good thing. He saved the girls. Oh, so it sounded like you were being a real sexual assaulter, but he did one good thing,
Yeah,
so you don't get to die.
Diddy, but now because you saved the girls, you're okay.
Yeah, now you're good. I'm like, all right. I wish Jacob killed everyone then, if that's how it was gonna go.
There's 2 stars in this movie, in my opinion. It's the group of flies that lead Kane all over the place, that are in charge of Kane, because I think Kane is made out of flies.
No, I'm convinced.
You see it every time he pops up, a fly is just there.
No, I'm convinced he is the fly. That's what I was thinking.
Because he's made out of flies.
Because it literally, anytime there was a fly, it's like he transformed and it was him. I swear, I think he was a fly. That was a subplot that I think they abandoned, probably.
I think he must be a suit of a skin with flies inside, because you saw when someone hit him in the head and in his little maggot hole,
yeah.
And then flies came out of it. And yeah, I think he's just a man made out of flies at this rate. What an interesting thing to pick, to be like, oh, you're in trouble now because a fly starts popping around. That was an odd choice. Also, the random moment when there was a dog, and then fuck Michael for trying to scare the dog away.
Oh yeah, that was the worst offense he had.
The girl alive.
Yeah, I mean, I felt bad for the girl, but I'm like, the dog was hungry, and then
there was multiple dogs.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden a huge pack of dogs came out. Yeah, no, that makes sense. And they just ate. Yeah, they just ate her. That was something. I'm trying to go through our modes. I already forgot the context of it, but it was the best line in the whole thing was, I think it was Michael or some. It was either Michael or I already forgot that the other guy were going back and forth, and I think the other guy says, "You can smell my finger later."
Yes, I do remember that line.
I had to put that down. I'm like, that was an old time line.
He was talking about the vegan girl or the vegetarian girl. They called her Plant Girl. Or whatever.
Plant Girl.
Something about, do you think she likes meat flutes or something, is what he said. And he pretended he pantomimed getting blown.
Mm-hmm.
And and
then he was like,
that was
smell
weird.
My finger later. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah. And then, of course, we get the cliche of somebody's going to have sex, and then, somebody's going to die. Yes. I do like when Kane does kidnap one of the girls. I think it was the one with the tattoo, that she's like screaming and yelling. So then Kane, as he's walking, kind of slams her body against the wall to shut up.
She definitely should have died on that. Like, this force that he did definitely should have broke her neck and back, but he was just like, just
that made me laugh. That reminded me of like Art the Clown slapping Sienna in the back of the head. And
there was definitely parts that make you chuckle because it's ridiculous, and again, it's fucking just, that's Kane. Like, anytime I saw things like, when they were the Michael and the stereotypical hot blonde girl are smoking and Jacob's just in the mirror. I think he was upset he wasn't invited to the smoke sesh. That's why I think that's what really came down to it. He was very upset. And then I gotta give it to it. It was a random kill, but I did like the kill of shoving the cell phone down her throat.
That was kind of
that was pretty cool.
Like, and then you see the bulge coming out of the neck. Yeah, I'd say most creative kill would probably be that. Mm-hmm. Or when he kills his mom and he tosses her.
Yeah, no,
stabbed. Like,
that was
when Kane goes yeet in the middle of the movie. Best part.
Because I mean, I'd also maybe eat if my mother put me in a cage for gooning. Cancun? Kane Cancun?
Is that why he got? Because what was it? When he brought that girl, or apparently he brought a girl, and then she had her tied up.
Yeah,
he was in the corner, in the cut corner. I was very confused.
Yeah, and then he kept going. Then they would show him he was inside a fucking cage, and I don't know if he was naked or had underwear. They just kept quickly cutting and everything. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And then he was, again, just it's disgusting, but also pretty funny. the girl's in the cage and he's kind of touching himself.
He was kind of touching
He's
himself.
kind
At
of
one
touching
point, I thought he
himself.
started rubbing his leg,
I think no, I think he was
doing a
rubbed
little
over the
yeah.
pants
Yeah,
action.
I think he was. I kind of made a note about that too. Man.
It's this. I mean, that's why. Like Vince was behind the camera, laughing his ass off and being like, "This is good shit."
What do you? The Kane must have some sort of superpower. I think he has the superpower of being a fly, but then
Yes.
also smelling. Because you saw at one point when it was the black guy and they were in the room with all the money, and the black guy's behind the safe, and next thing you know, Kane goes, he's smelling, and next he smells what the Rock's cooking.
Yes, exactly.
Then,
That's
and then he finds where the black guy's at.
yeah. So I felt bad for him. He deserved to. He got so far. He should have ended it, but you know Vince McMahon wasn't gonna let a black man go over. Usual.
Oh,
But yeah,
or,
no.
or Triple H nowadays, am I right?
Yeah.
Oh, speaking about things that made me laugh, do you know? Because Kane is pretty much silent throughout the entire movie, which I think is an issue. I think Kane, in his entire career, when he finally did speak, he does know how to sound very menacing. His laugh is really good too. But at one point, when the black guy fries his hand when they're trying to get out that elevator shaft, hear Kane go, ah.
Oh yes, yes. Ah. Yeah, that's the only
That
noise
took
he
me
makes.
out.
I didn't make a note, but I do remember exactly. Just ah.
That, and he does eventually. He's like, no, when his mom
Yeah.
keeps like holding him to try and like kill the girl.
Or do you think what could have made this even better is if he went old school Kane? No,
Put it on
mother.
the-
No, mother.
That would have been great if he had the smoker thing. If I would have made this movie, I would have changed it that Kane spoke, but also would have. So if they were going to copy a movie, which they basically did in a way with the way they copied Friday the 13th, with Jason's mother, Jason Voorhees, you got Jacob Goodnight and Mrs. Goodnight. I think it would have been cool if they kind of would have went a more Michael Myers approach, where all right, maybe if Kane doesn't speak, but Kane in the mask would have been so much cooler if you found a way to give him like the old, like the mid '90s mask that he had, and maybe not the suit because it would just look cartoony.
Yeah.
But like I don't know, a prison jumpsuit or something like that. Because I think Kane would have looked way more menacing if he had a mask on. And maybe it was the Kane mask, and this movie could have been about like him getting the Kane mask in a way or something, versus him not wearing a Kane mask because it just looked odd. Just seeing his bald ass head, yeah, it gave me corporate Kane vibes.
Yeah,
It didn't sell for me, even though like if you look at like 2004 WWE or 2005 WWE when he has the mask off and he's terrorizing like Lita, like that's scary Kane. This Kane, I don't know, something about it just didn't do it for me. But I think you put a mask on that fucker, and I think you got a movie.
Yeah, I think you either put the mask on and keep him silent, or keep him the way he is, but he talks menacingly, or you just not make this movie. That could also be a thing. I doubt that was a thought in Vince's head ever. Or
Surprisingly,
whoever.
this movie made money. This movie had a budget
I'm not
of $8
surprised.
million. Budget of $8 million, and with it made $15 million in North America and 3.6 in other territories. So it made $18.6 million. Typically, you want to say if a movie really made money, it has to double what it is. So
Yeah, I wonder how much they.
million, like,
I have a feeling they also definitely several million on marketing because that was marketed to shit.
the trailers looked great back in the day. I'm like, yo, that looks scary. I've never saw it until today. I'm like, well, damn, I got hoodwinked, man.
Yeah, and I wasn't watching back then, but wasn't the whole like, it was what, May like 13th was when it was
May
released,
19th,
or is it
yeah.
19th? And like that's when they kept saying, "Am I having this wrong? Is this connected to the Katie Vick stuff?"
No, it's not connected to Katie Vick. So May 19th is connected with, from what I remember reading, it's technically when like he got burned and buried or whatever with the whole Undertaker storyline. But then it's also related to The Imposter Kane storyline was May 19th as well. But then May 19th was the release date of the movie.
Yeah,
so
that's
they tried to like connect it in the WWE thing. I also did see, I didn't get to watch the clip, but I saw a little highlight on YouTube. The cast of See No Evil does show up to Raw, and he like chokes the black guy for some reason.
Well, we now know why.
Yeah, we know now
Yeah,
why
we know.
Glenn Jacobs wanted to
We
choke
know
a black
why
guy.
he did it now, but it wasn't in the script.
Yeah, he just started going crazy backstage, and we're like, roll it, keep it rolling,
Yeah.
keep it rolling.
This is
But
good
man,
shit.
What a shitty movie. I was
How is
really
this
hoping
how is
was
this
gonna
the
be
same
good.
how is this the same studio that produced such cinema classics as The Marine and 12 Rounds?
All within the same years. All within
Ha-
the same years, because 12 Rounds was like a year or two later, 2 years later, I'm pretty sure. And then Marine came out 2006, 2007. So, yeah, I don't get it either.
Just how are always what we do when we talk about the movies. How do we incorporate John Cena into this? I think if he's the guy who loses his arm, it's
He would have been a great cop.
Significantly better cop.
Yeah, significantly better cop. Or else he could have been maybe a lone survivor. He could have been, he could have been the Michael character.
Or back then, I think it was, might have still been called, he FU's Kane outside the hotel.
Yeah, he does FU him.
Boom. That would be.
Or John Cena's one of the flies. He's
that,
a fly.
Or he's
fucking fly in the movie.
Nah, I know. He's Kane's mother.
He's
like
Kane's
how
mom,
he's
like
how he's Fred's father, right? Isn't that canonically a thing? He's also Kane's mother in See No Evil franchise.
But like in a Mrs. Doubtfire kind of.
Oh yeah, of course.
Lady.
Hello.
I think I could see that working.
Yeah.
I think I could see John in that. And honestly, so Kane's supposed to be dead, but there is a See No Evil 2.
Yes.
I don't know what happens in that either. Also,
I might have to watch it.
Came out in 2014, so yeah, we might have to review that.
I think we might have to watch it.
I mean, with the way he dies, he has a Mortal Kombat X-ray kill.
We didn't even talk. That was insane.
When they just zoom into his like body breaking and stuff.
Finish him.
Yeah, really.
That's what I think they literally took it from Mortal Kombat. I would not be surprised. It's insane how they just out of nowhere.
There was so much potential in this movie, and it just led to nothing. I was really expecting this to be good, and I was so mistaken.
And I get it's the whole premise because it's called See No Evil, but the whole eyes thing was just... It was a nothing. Like I didn't need to see it. I was more grossed out seeing his nasty ass fingers than seeing the eyes get pulled out.
I didn't understand the eyes at first until like, it's because of the evil. Look at the eyes, they have evil, the sin. Before he started putting them in like pickle jars and started pickling those eyes. At one point, when he pulled out the first person's eyes, that he did not the girl in the beginning of the movie, but when we see him finally pull someone's eye out. I made a note. I'm like, yo, did he just eat that eye? But then he puts it in a jar. But I thought he was eating.
I think it would have made a little bit more sense. If he ate them.
I thought he was eating eyes at one point. But yeah. Oh, one thing this movie does. I don't know if you saw it. Did you see that this movie has an end credit scene?
Damn it! I didn't see. He showed up in the Avengers.
Yeah, Nick Fury comes in there. He's like, I'm missing an eye. You're Mr. See No Evil. No,
there was an idea, Mr. Goodnight.
So they pan to Kane's body on the ground. He's not moving. He doesn't move at all. Instead, that dog comes back. The dog comes and pisses in Kane's eye.
I forgot about that part. Yes. I did see that.
Scene.
Yes, it was a mid-credit scene. Very funny. Don't know why that was used, but I'll take it. It was very good.
Who's cooking, man? Who let this person cook?
Yeah.
Whose idea was that?
Also, how have I never seen that quote tweeted to any of Mayor Glenn's tweets? Like that should be on repeat. Anytime he says stupid shit, just tweet that.
Everyone's retweeting him getting CTE, but no, they should be retweeting him getting pissed in the eye by a dog.
Yeah, no, that's why I watched this a week ago and I've already forgot most of this movie because it was
It's
something.
not a good movie. It's I was hoping, man. I was hoping. But anyway,
Yeah.
that's See No Evil. At some point, we'll talk about See No Evil too. But
Yes,
Godspeed,
we will have to.
Godspeed. And that movie came out, I'm pretty sure, in 2014. So who knows what they were cooking
Uh,
in 2014? But I don't think it was good.
I doubt it.
So now, yeah, we're pretty much wrapping up the show. Before we wrap up the show, Finn, anything cool you've been watching? I know we've mentioned it already in the review. We saw Terrifier 3. I made a YouTube video of a little bit of our thoughts when we saw the movie. I know you hated that.
Yeah.
But other things that you've seen or what you want to talk about, what's something good you've been watching?
That's I was thinking going through my head of like things that I was watching. Like I've told you I was catching up on What We Do in the Shadows, the vampire show on Hulu, which is very good. Highly recommend anyone. It's the final season. It's possibly the most underrated comedy going, I think, because not enough people talk about it, and it's special how funny it is, and I think it's sad. I think is this the fifth or sixth season, and they're ending it, but they're doing it well where it hasn't missed a beat.
Top?
It hasn't missed a beat, so it's right to end it. And also, I was rewatching another for a new season, Shrinking on Apple TV with
yes, you did mention that before.
with Jason Segel, Marshall from How I Met Your Mother, and forget his name, but Pete from Forgetting Sarah Marshall, but the main actor from Forgetting Sarah Marshall. But and of course Harrison Ford. That also a very funny show, but more of like the modern take of it's very funny, but also kind of sad. It's actually pretty damn sad a good amount of the time, but it also is very funny. Harrison Ford, honestly, one of my favorite performances of him. Not like if you exclude Han Solo and Indiana Jones, like it's up there for me. How he's very very funny, and he's just pretty honestly playing Harrison Ford if he was a therapist, which that's what I highly recommend.
I honestly have to give it a try.
Yeah, both. I can't, especially What We Do in the Shadows, because I feel like TikTok really got me into it because there was the whole, I think it was 2 years ago at this point, he's my good pal, he's my homeboy, he's my sweet cheese, my good time boy. That sound.
Let's talk about New York City.
Yeah, exactly that. That's just scratching the surface of how good a character his Laszlo, played by it's Matt Berry. Absolutely incredible, that character. Him, Nandor, the whole ensemble is very good, and that's what makes it such a great show. Is everyone's so good that there's no weak point. And again, very quick, also classic, like 25-minute comedy. Around like 10, I think it's 10 every season's been 10 episodes besides this last one. I think is gonna have an 11th.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that and one. I think the best thing I watched this past month was the Mets, baby. It was a hell of a ride. It was
a hell of a ride until it's over.
Yeah, no, it honestly was 2 weeks from when they got into the playoffs until it ended. It was some incredible moments. It just the happiest I've been possibly since as a Met fan. Even though they lost, they weren't supposed to be here, and it was just just so special. It was such a fun season. So many things. Oh my God, Grimace, Hawk to a Girl was involved.
The Rizzler.
We should have deployed the Rizzler early. That was our mistake. He was there for our darkest hour. We won the last home game because of him, but they should have deployed him earlier, and who knows what could have happened.
He could have fucking went on bat. He could have.
I would.
Cleanup.
Easily, he could have easily came out the bullpen. I could see it. Yeah,
real quick.
Still bringing it.
Still bringing it. Some of the things. I mean, I've really been on a sitcom kind of journey. I've already told you we've discussed this, but for the listeners, I started watching King of Queens again. I know Finn was too. At one point, a couple months ago, I was like, "No, I just watched this episode." And you're like, "I literally just watched that episode." That was hot.
Arthur Spooner. It's not even just Arthur Spooner. It's Jerry Stiller is
He's so
possibly
good.
the funniest man that's ever graced the screen of television. He's also very funny in movies, but I think it's because they're very much the same character. Arthur Spooner and Frank Costanza are two of the greatest characters of all time.
Especially
And it's
when they
because
start yelling.
it's because that's what he's just him. He's just so good. And Kevin James is hilarious, but that show is Arthur Spooner and Jerry Stiller. R.I.P. to a goat. He's easy.
Yeah. I think we lost him 2 years ago. Kind of crazy. So I've been watching that. I watched a lot of George Lopez. I actually watched a lot of the George Lopez show, the OG Nick one. But then I started watching the new Lopez show, the one that he does with his daughter. It's one of those shows your parents would probably love kind of deal, where it's like you can watch it and still find funny moments out of it. But then there's those moments where you're like, this kind of feels forced. And mostly it's when they bring in the little kid. Anytime they bring in, he's one of those little kid characters where he's like supposed to be 8 years old, but he acts like he's 15 with the way how witty he is, which parents love it. I'm like, this is not a realistic kid.
Kids ruin everything. That's what a big thing that's happening today that I keep seeing is clips of the new Wizards of Waverly Place.
Oh, yes, dropped. I have been seeing those clips.
And like it was cool seeing because I watched a little bit of Wizard. I wasn't like watching
a lot of that back in the day.
I feel like I caught the maybe like first 2 seasons pretty often, and I enjoyed it. And it was cool seeing like Selena Gomez and David Henry back together. But then I know if I watch it, I'm like, these kids aren't going to be the same. So why would I watch this?
Us.
It's not for us.
It's not for us.
That's why it's tough. Like we are kind of the audience because you're bringing back a thing that we grew up on and we enjoyed, but then you make it for kids, so it's like it's tough because like I hope kids like this, but do they really know Wizards of Waverly Place? That's
Did they watch the OG?
Yeah, like it's weird. Like to who is it? It isn't for us, but who is exactly for if they haven't watched it? They're not going to get the lore. They don't know the lore, man.
Yeah, they're not going to get the lore. It's a good thing Disney Plus exists. Yeah. You could watch it. I've thought about watching it once in a while, but there's so much other things to watch.
There's too many things.
Speaking about other shows,
Penguin. I gotta watch the Penguin. I can't. I missed
the first. Everyone's talking about it.
I missed the first episode. I'm like, all right, I'll watch it, and I just haven't gotten to it and feel bad because it sounds really, really good.
I want to too. I mean, everyone's talking about that. And I don't see as many people talking about it, but still people are talking about it. Agatha all along.
Yes,
I might give it a watch. Aubrey Plaza, I just learned is Puerto Rican now, so I might have to give it a watch.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see. Maybe a lot of shows going on, and some things just fall in the background. But finally, what's coming out of my background, and we just talked about it not too long ago. Yesterday, I started catching up because I'm well behind season 2. Abbott Elementary. Started finally watching it again.
Oh, I completely forgot that was back. Yes, that new season has been. It's picking up right where I left off. It's incredible. Like that.
So far, I can say. I mean, I still have about a season and a half to finish, but another one of those shows where there's not a bad episode in there.
No, it's gonna make you laugh out loud once an episode. Easily. You're gonna laugh and chuckle throughout the episode, but there's gonna be a moment where like, my God, this is hilarious. Like
some of the best cold opens in a TV
yes, no
show
cold
also.
Opens.
I love a good cold open, and they have some great ones.
Yeah, literally the first episode of this past season, the cold open's fantastic. It was 2 episodes ago now at this point. Zach Fox is back, and he kills it every time he's on the screen in Abbott Elementary. So anytime I got hyped. It was like a mini seeing Andrew Garfield or Toby in Spider-Man. Like he's here. Let's go. Because he started the episode like with Cole Oba. I'm like, yes.
No, I need to finish it, but I think it'll be an easy watch. I got through like 7 episodes last night without even trying, because it's another one of those 20-minute shows that you could just watch and mindlessly like just get through it. So
yeah, no, it's so easy to get through. Because again, it's that's the it's tough because again, it sounds easy, but it's very when everyone is just so good, the whole ensemble. There's not one person like,
Oh, there's not a bad character
I don't
in
need I
there.
don't need to deal with that. Like, no, everyone is just so good, like good to amazing that it just nothing's gonna top. Like, it's just gonna be perfect. It's a perfect team, pretty much.
It's not a bad character, not one.
Yeah.
But man, yeah. And to end it, yeah, pretty much that's kind of what I've been watching. Besides that, I've just been, and you know it because we saw the third one. I saw the other two. Been in a Terrifier kick. I mean, I'm wearing the shirt. I got a koozie. Don't worry. I mean, anyone watching the video won't see this. I got a cup now, and I don't know how to read, but they came out with a book, and I have the book now. I think I'm kind of obsessed lately. I was him for Halloween. I also kind of bought the book because I'm hoping to hell there's lore. Because man, there was no real lore still in these movies. I think I've been obsessed with Terrifier as of late.
Yeah, you're just obviously going to be on a watch list now that you have all this memorabilia, but it's fine. I'm going to report you, but it's going to be all right. It's fine, you know.
Hey, as long as I'm not doing some of those gruesome kills in there. And I think you know, one of the things I think has me obsessed, besides I do like Art the Clown, and I'm sure you could appreciate this even though you thought it was nasty. I enjoyed that 90% of everything that was happening that was gruesome was practical. Practical effects.
Yes, no, practical
like
is
crazy.
Yes, that's what made it, because that's what also made it grosser.
Yeah,
it was very practical. No, that's what, like, I don't like the over gore. That's the whole thing. If you took away the over gore, I'd be fine with the movie. Like, I was definitely entertained by parts of the movie. It's just the over gore is too much.
Yeah.
And there's certain, I don't want to spoil it, but there's certain deaths that I was just like, this. It was a little too far.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think there's been maybe it's also because I'm on the Terrifier side of TikTok. I don't know if you've seen the TikTok videos where people are like, "Oh, when you know you're about to get killed by Art," and it's like people are like, "Dude, can you just kill me now? You overdo it, bro. Like, you do too much."
That too.
Like,
it's the ridiculous thing of like people are they're getting fucked up so much, but yet they're still somehow alive.
Yeah,
like that the guy in the shower was somehow alive for most of it somehow, and he went through some shit. Again, don't want
the girl also.
Yeah, like it's wild how. Yeah, no, he is entertaining when he's slapping shit, and
he might be my new horror goat. Michael is my goat. This might be my new one, and I just saw that it's out on digital now. I think so. I think I'm gonna be rewatching pretty soon. But anyone who's a fan of spooky stuff, enjoy. Watch See No Evil. Yes. And
happy spooky season, folks.
Yeah, happy spooky season. Hopefully I'll be back with an episode next week. Might do it solo because for the first time ever, I watched The Scorpion King. That is something I forgot to say I watched. I watched The Scorpion King, so that might be
again. That's another banger. How is See No Evil part of this? That I fucking love The Scorpion King. I unironically love that movie. That movie hits. I don't care what anyone says.
It's perfect. I see why Hollywood was like, let's give him all the money in the world, because even if he isn't playing a realistic role of the way he's acting,
he's playing The Rock as the Scorpion King. He's literally just a badass kind of assassin, but he's The Rock. He's literally playing The Rock. Like there's no. It's I love.
It's impressive. Anyway, thanks for listening, everybody. As always, you can follow us on the socials at WrestleCinema. Trying to put more stuff on there. On YouTube, you'll find some stuff like wrestling gameplay or wrestling things. Who knows? And yeah, thanks for listening, and maybe we'll be back next week.
Maybe.
Peace. That turned into a 2-hour video recording. 40 minutes.
Well, yeah, say take away 40 minutes.